I'm working on a web project and need to make HTTP requests to a server. What's the best way to do this in modern JavaScript?
For modern web projects, the Fetch API is a great choice. It's built into most browsers and uses promises, making it much easier to work with than the older XMLHttpRequest.
How does Fetch API work exactly?
Fetch provides a global fetch method that you can use to send requests. This method returns a promise, which resolves to the response to that request, whether it is successful or not.
Could you give me a simple example of how to use it?
Sure. Here's a basic example of how to make a GET request. This code fetches data from api.example.com/data and logs it to the console.
What if I want to send data, like in a POST request?
For a POST request, you need to specify an additional options object. Here, the method property is set to POST, and the request body is sent as a JSON string.
What about error handling? How does Fetch handle that?
The Fetch API considers a request a failure only if it fails to make a request, like a network failure. If the server responds with an HTTP error status, like 404 or 500, it's still considered a successful request. To handle these cases, you should check the response.OK property.
Is there support for headers, and how do I work with them?
Yes, the Fetch API allows you to specify headers. You can add them in the headers property of the options object. It's a simple key-value pair. Here's an example.
And what about sending a request with credentials like cookies?
By default, Fetch won't send or receive any cookies from the server. If you need to include cookies, set the credentials option to include.
This is helpful. Is there anything else important that I should know about Fetch?
One more thing to note is that Fetch is promise-based, so it works really well with modern JavaScript features like async/await. This can make your asynchronous code look cleaner and more readable.
Could you show me an example using async/await?
Absolutely. Here's the previous GT example using async/await.
That does look cleaner. Thanks for the comprehensive overview of Fetch.
You're welcome. Remember, while Fetch is powerful and versatile, always consider the specifics of your project and browser compatibility when choosing your HTTP request method.